Good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I hope you are amazing. All right, so a few things. All right, let's just start with what's in front of me right here. Man, I absolutely love the day and age we're living in. The modification that I've made is treating me super well. Now, it's still early days, and of course, beta testing and making sure that what I've got is not too good to be true, and manja, checking it out in all the different markets and the usual process I go through before getting overly excited about something. Is where I am right now. But if there's a divide down the middle, I'm leaning towards being overly excited about the new addition to this environment. So, again, guys, you should please be using AI to modify, to enhance, to get curious with, and just play around with the advancements that you can employ and deploy in the trading realm, as I found it absolutely fruitful. Now, I do want to quickly apologize to one of the traders who left in a comment on one of my posts to say, well, their point was, you never stop learning. And I said, well, I don't need to learn because I've learned everything I needed to. I've done all my learning. Now it's just about management and deploying. So I take that back. Being in a place of fun and exploration and playfulness is something I truly recommend for you guys, especially when we're dealing with just numbers and time and price and kind of stuff that'll put you to sleep at school back in the day. But here it's obviously because there's money attached to it, it becomes entertaining and exciting and stimulating and all that kind of thing. So, with that be the case, customize your oscillators. Again, if you want to bring them up, just on your keyboard, press the backslash, and they're all here. You can get the code to all of what guys have created over time. So again, all you need to do is go to the ones you like. There's RSI. Let's say, for example, I think we covered the volume delta yesterday. I'm surprised the ADX isn't here. And ADX was what I used to enjoy back in the day. Anyway, but try it out or watch yesterday's video. You basically open anything that you want to have a look at, then go to the source code, visible range volume profile. Could be an example of that. So here's something I used to use when I wasn't as smart as I am now. And this basically brings up the volume ranges per threshold. Okay, so you can see over here there's quite a bit of volume around about that area. So that's been consolidating within that threshold for some time. Over here around the 70,000 mark, there's been a lot of volume. That is the threshold where price is currently hanging out on. And I used to think this was kind of valuable because then we would find the support and resistance zones as to where price is going to land up next. Now, obviously, with the maturing of my trading experience and my developing the MTOPS trading system and the MTOPS charting method as well, I found this kind of stuff to be quite useless because turning points is where you want to catch, you want to ride the transitions down, and so on and so forth. So MTOPS obviously is the superpower over all things else because it forecasts the future, works with time and price in a way that nothing else I've seen before gets close to, and so on and so forth. So I enjoyed seeing this because it looked colorful and different because it came off the side, and yeah, But if it is your style of trading, just as an example, obviously I'm coming from my own experience and everyone's got their own journey. So I found that understanding where volume is pretty useless. But if you want to try it out yourself, for example, all you do, or you want to make modifications to it, is that you go to click on it. Hopefully you'll be able to see the source. No. I suppose if you're lucky, you can edit the source code. I'm not sure if it's available to everyone. This is my one. Um, and typically, the indicator source will be made available to the bottom. You then duplicate it, copy it, go to the AI, make adjustments, and yeah, you create your own environment. So the reason why I'm harping on about this is because oh, the line that I'm working with, the modification I made, I find is super useful. Again, I haven't tried it out on all markets across all time frames. Maybe it works on some, maybe the settings work on some, and then adjustments need to be made elsewhere and so on. But what I'm finding is such value in having that line right there. Reason being is when I was trading, I used to get caught up in these what I call now the death alleys. That section over there, it's just that range part of the market, which pretty much is my worst nightmare. I hate all of that. I like to have active markets. Otherwise, what's the point, right? And there's nothing worse than being positive for the day, wanting to trade and being in the right mood and just feeling great about life. And the markets aren't like that. They're just consolidating and offering you nothing. That's how stop losses and revenge trading and all that bad behavior comes into flourishing really. So by having this line over here, it gives me the power as to not to waste my time with crappy trades, right? So basically, the if we miss this initial leg down, which I think it kind of indicated it was going to happen, right? Or not really. I said it was going to go down. Oh yeah, it actually did. Yeah, I said I was going to go down and then stop over there, but that's where the transition happened. So suppose the switch up top here was where you get the information for that. Anyway, so if you missed that, then who cares, right? Because what we're being told here is that there is a low range of basically nothing happening, which is the same thing that was indicated back here, and then basically nothing happened. And then a turn to the upside that's on its way, but it's an early warning that there's a turn to the upside. So how I find super value in that is basically from 70,000 more or less, this is call it on average 70,000 down to 69,500. There's like a $500 change, right? So maybe a variance of $1,000 over back here is the 21st of May. Today's the 20th. So over the last 2 days, Bitcoin's offered us very little range overall. And again, what's helped me stick out of Bitcoin and not burn my hands on the stove and rather just be a noble student and listen to the market. I kind of pulled back. But now, as I see the red line starting to get closer to the midway point and looking to crush that threshold, and I see that these oscillator lines are starting to hint as if they want to switch, I might go long once there is a confirmed turning point that's happened over here. But that, of course, is MTOPS based. So I'll turn to MTOPS to give me that information. I suppose what I want to say in that point, sorry for the blocked nose and my weird voice today, just by the way, is that MTOPS prevails. First, MTOPS is my primary. All of these extras are there as support. So under oscillator, it actually helps and supports. I don't base my trading decisions solely on this. So it's super important that that point is understood. This is just a help towards an incredible strategy. So obviously, I turn to my tools for that information, and then I see what it wants to tell me. So say, for example, over here, we've now got turning point 1 that finished off. So what I do, I just wanted to see if it's the right color. Let's mark that turning point and then investigate where the next will be. So that's scaling is too small. I'm just doing it freehand. Again, students, do it the proper way. Don't take shortcuts. I've earned the privilege of shortcuts. All right, so yeah, so there's your kill zone formation. It dropped down to arc 3. It's been consolidating around this dead part here, according to the red line. It's starting to hint that it's going to turn up. There's an early warning that the red line is pointing upwards. You can see that little tick to the upside. So now my eyes are looking for the turning point over here for turning point 2 to form. And then, of course, the other side of it is my eyes are looking as to here whether or not this move is true, if it's going to go down and go up, or something else is going to happen. But I think the point being is that this line I've found is super helpful. Please, guys, customize your stuff to suit you. I can speak from experience that it's worth your while. Okay, so yeah, I've definitely looped around that point a lot this week, and I wouldn't do so for nothing. Now, the next point I want to make is an ironic one. So maybe this is me reaching out to Mac users and just letting me know, asking you actually rather, if there is a solution that you found around the problem that I'm having. So last week I spoke about the technicalities of technology and how trading heavily relies on you having a great setup that's reliable. It's not going to crash on you. That's not going to surprise you with negative excuses. And what I found, ironically, is that the Wine64, which is the wrapping program that the Windows program that I'm running, which is MetaTrader 5, is wrapped in. That's just lingo and terminology for a Windows program being able to run in a Mac OS environment. The Wine64 itself is doing something called a spin out of my kernels. So my second CPU is being overly run. It's the kernel isn't shutting down correctly, and because Wine64 and MetaTrader 5 is not native to Mac OS, there's some really weird management happening, and that's what's crashing my computer every once in a while. So by running my trading software, ironically, that's restarting my computer. And the irony is that when the computer restarts, it isn't running the scripts that I've got to automate the management of my trades. So the very thing that will be making me money is the same thing that is crashing my computer so it can't be run. So that's the kind of crap that we're talking about in real world scenarios that you might face. I'll use it as an example. There's endless other ones that I could speak to, but obviously keeping it as relevant and real as possible. That's what's been happening to me, and everyone's got their own story. So just a word to the wise, they say. So you guys, the wise guys, a word's coming from me. So a word from me to the wise listeners: make sure that you have as a reliable system as possible. Some guys have got the money to have a dedicated laptop for trading. I recommend that. Don't get something kind of finicky and useless like a Chromebook or a tablet, or something that's gimmicky. Rather just stick to the hardened laptop that runs well, and doesn't get buggy when there's an update or something like that, because all you want is a noble steed, something that's going to just be strong and doesn't have problems. And whatever that is for you, if you're a Mac person or a Windows person, make sure that happens. So my question to those who are running Mac OS: do you guys have a potential solution that is going to help the Windows program manage better in this environment? Because right now, as I used to experience when I had a Windows machine, it's buggy. And I can tell you, it's so relieving having a Mac OS and not having to deal with this nonsense for the longest time. And ironically, when Windows gets in part of the process, then problems come through. So yeah, just let me know if there's any tips or tricks that you guys have figured out, and I can try them out myself. I've obviously gone to ChatGPT and all that, and they just say like, update the software and all of that, but I do have the latest updates, and it's still happening. So yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on now. It's my brain fog, I suppose. Yeah, so just to kind of finish off, where I'm right now in my life is that I'm very, 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 very blessed to live in an era where I get to have technology support me in a way that I can refactor what I use. I can customize it. I can see ideas that I have materialize onto the machine, and just get creative and play and have fun. And thankfully for me, this has really been a turnaround that I needed, because just by trusting the process, relying on the indicators that I'm writing and so on, I can leave trades open, and they're coming back pretty strong. To be honest, like, I'm still the problem. There was a trade I had open on gold yesterday that would have gone to quite comfortably $1,500, but I was just getting into a place of that human like emotion where it's too good to be true. Oh no, let me just lock in for profit just in case it all goes wrong, and this great feeling turns into a negative feeling, because that's obviously happened to me in the past. And I just kept on going and going and going. And if I just trusted the indicators that I've created, then I wouldn't have had a problem. I would have clocked in at least $1,500 on the single trade. But collectively, I got over 1,000, and it was so fun. Like, I love trading, I love profit, I love watching the instruments that I've employed work out. I love the strategy being strong and there for me. I love it. Now, what I don't love, to be quite frank, is the market itself, as it's quite a boring process when no one else is trading. So when the markets are ranging in consolidation phase, or just kind of bucking up and then coming down and up and down in a small area, which is the same as ranging or consolidating or accumulating or whatever you guys want to use there. Like, that's the worst for me. When there isn't buying behavior, that's literally the worst. When markets are healthy and they're moving and volatile, that's heaven for me. So again, the instrument that I've designed is to help me through the low liquidity periods, and just to avoid that, right? And then get in when things are nice and healthy and active, and obviously just allow the tools to let me know when there is a turning point on its way or a change in dominant trend direction, and then just hang into that trade and lock in for profit. So if you guys are comfortable with over $1,000 profit in a day, then you should probably lean into something like what I'm doing now. Yeah. Ciao for now. That's it. I'll catch you in the next one.